Game number one, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the End of the Storm North America Playoffs Group A, and we have a Towers of Doom match to start things off with in our first best of three series of the day with Cloud9 going up against THC White. Yeah, it's my little dream that just came true with Towers of Doom. I didn't really expect it as the starting map. I was actually thinking that they would ban the map out and then we would have ended up on Cursed Hollow. But instead, we're actually seeing Towers of Doom now played. And THC White is currently looking at some assassin bans. So we're having a Greymane banned out here. I mean, Towers of Doom overall and Zool by Cloud9 is going to be probably banned as well. The hero is allowed today, but of course, he is still very, very strong. That Bone Prison is insane. He has great pushing power as well and also pretty significant hero damage. We've seen him already in the European scene twice, but for now, it seems like in North America, we will have to wait a bit longer until we see Zool in play. And yes, so for THC White, they can go into a Zagara, for example. We have seen a lot of Zagara play, especially on the North American server, but also in Europe, she's very highly regarded when it comes to priorities. So that's one of the heroes that would make a good first pick here. In Europe, Rhaegar is still very highly prioritized, whereas on a North American server, he has fallen off a little bit. North America views supports a bit different. There's a lot of supports actually that they put on the same level. When it comes to damage, on the other hand, then of course Greymane and Li Ming are still the top damage dealers that we see most of the time, and Greymane already banned out. Cloud9 in this case actually completely disregarding a potential Zagara and going straight into that Zeratul. And Zeratul in particular is a hero that is extremely popular in North America. We've already seen Zeratul a lot. We've seen it a couple of times in the European finals in Katowice as well, but North America is kind of... Yeah, they're definitely like one of the servers that plays probably the most Zeratul for good reason. Void Prison is incredibly strong and they definitely like put a lot of pressure onto the backline, and with the Void Prison you can of course like really decide a team fight in your favor. THC White apparently going for that Rhaegar heal. I mean, at this point they of course have to also think about if they want to maybe go for like a Tacita, if they want to go Vision, but it's a little bit uncommon in North America to go for a Tacita as a solo support, which is one of the things that probably a European team would have done right now to counter that out a little bit. Tessa solo support in North America is not unheard of. It has been played in the past, but it's not really as common as on the European server. So there's a bit of a difference in how the heroes are being perceived and what kind of compositions are going to be played here. For THC White, they have, of course, like really solid damage already with Li Ming, even though she is a little bit on the weaker side. So probably not going to go for Glass Cannon here, considering that we're having Zeratul on the other hand. Cloud9 is still lacking range damage, and they're also lacking, of course, a support, which means that THC White, when we're going into the bans, could try and ban one of those out, or at least like limit the options a little bit. For now, a frontliner would be pretty decent for them. ETC still very highly regarded for most teams, and they go for the combo. Laura Lania, thank you very much for the sub here, but we have that Tacita. So instead of going for like a solo support Tacita to counteract the Zeratul, we have apparently a potential double support here. Rhaegar Tacita would already cater towards a bruiser type at the front line, and yes, they switch it around. I mean, you are forced into a setup where you play a double support. You have like one frontliner with, for example, like Johanna, Muradin, by the way, picked by Cloud9, but like hit point heavy tanks in the front line. And then you can try to get something else in there, like for example, a Thrall. Okay, that was a quick one. I wasn't really prepared for that, Illidan. You're correct. Vikings are being banned, as I said already. Holy cow. Like, something's really wrong with the audio here, isn't it? I'm not sure if that's as loud for you as it is for me, but that is way louder than it's supposed to be. Apparently,
here is some money. You are awesome.
Well, thank you very much for that. That's a message if I've ever seen one. Yeah, Tychus teasered, but false that taken. Tychus teasered again. They would definitely get some fans here if they play Tychus right now. He lost his Zigar, but he hasn't lost his charm, the Renegade. We have Johanna taken so over the Tacita. As I said, Tacita would have limited their options a little bit because still think about going into a Tacita here. We have for now Cloud9 with the ban on the Vikings. Vikings actually very popular on this map. We haven't really seen it too much yet, but it's a very, very powerful pick because you can soak a lot of experience while those altars are up, and especially later on in the game when there are triple altars on the map, you can always just like move around and make sure that you get one or two while the rest of the team is fighting, or at least you can delay one of the altars and help your team team to just like move from one to another and win those fights in there. And an experienced leader is, of course, also quite powerful. The Jaina ban is catering a little bit to what we are seeing Cloud9 do with Muradin and also, of course, with the Void Prison and Zeratul. Since if you have that Void Prison in play, you can immediately use Jaina with the Ring of Frost and also the Blizzard to just like burst the target down, bubble wipe, so to say. Like you put the bubble in play and then you just like immediately wipe everything there. So that's one of the things that you can actually do. Tychus is picked. They actually take Tychus here. All right, I'm a fan already. Didn't really expect them to go through with it, but I am very, very happy to see that we are having Tychus back in play here. Did not expect that to be a real pick whatsoever, but if we actually like have Tychus now in the game, that would be pretty cool. So the Renegade is going to be back, and yeah, I consider me intrigued. This is going to be good. Cloud9 already with the picks here, and THC White, let's see how they react to this. They probably didn't expect that at all. I didn't. Of course, there's still a healer missing. Oh, and Cho'Gall is being picked. Boys, we are in for a treat here. Cho'Gall on Towers of Doom. Not really a map that you immediately jump to when you think about Cho'Gall, because especially later on in the game when there's like triple altars, you are of course kind of forced to, like you have no options to actually like split. The damage is mainly from Gall and Li Ming here. We have Johanna as the second damage dealer, and it looks like Cloud9 is actually in this case even looking at a LiLi. So, yeah, in supports, wasn't really quite what I expected to see here, but we have actually seen a couple of teams start to scrim with LiLi again, mainly, though, against auto-attack heroes, so that you can go there for the Blinding Wind. So I'm not quite sure if they're actually teasing us a little bit at this point and it's going to switch it around, or if they are going for LiLi. They actually do it. LiLi Tychus. Like, that is an interesting draft if I've ever seen one. I'm already a fan there. Cho'Gall, LiLi, Tychus. If anybody would have told me that we were going to start the day with this draft, I would have called them crazy. But apparently Cloud9 is serious about this. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting game to say the least. So boys and girls, we have a pretty crazy draft on our hands. Game number 1 here at the end of the Storm North America playoffs. Towers of Doom is our first map. So let's jump in and see which team is going to take the lead here in the best of 3. Alright everybody, game number 1 is about to start here, as you can already tell, and well, in this case we are having Cloud9 going to play against THC White. The draft not really what we expected here, actually like quite the opposite. At this point this is looking a little bit crazy, as you can already tell. To the left side of the map, Cloud9 is starting on Towers of Doom, our first map in the best of 3, with King Caffeine on Muradin. We have currently Dunk Train on LiLi, yes you heard right. K1 Pro on Falstad, we have iDream on Zeratul, and Arthalon on the Renegade. Tychus, the man without his cigar, is back to business. To the right side of the map, THC White with Kalabunga on Li Ming, Butts on Gall, Elheim on Rhaegar, Justing on Cho, and Hyunra on Johanna. So yep, we are ready to go and good to go for this one, because this is going to be quite some fun. Already the action starting in the middle of the map here. Towers of Doom, it's an Aram 5 versus 5. And well, looks like we might see the first victim. It's Johanna. Counter kill maybe against Caffeine. Caffeine low and he is down. Caffeine taken out. It's a 1-for-1 right now. Arthalon already moving back on Tychus. He went straight into the Regeneration Master as the level 1 talent. Falstad is dead as well. Cloud9 actually losing 2 heroes right at the start of the game here. So not really the opening that they were hoping for. Interesting choice, of course, to go into a Cho'Gall, considering that we're currently on altars, where the objectives later on sometimes even spawn 3 altars. So that is or Towers of Doom, like with the 3 altar event, that is definitely one of those things where you always want to have a couple of buddies in the game so that you can actually just like send them from one objective to another. It's a little bit better than on Dragonshire, of course, but still, let's see how exactly Cho'Gall is going to work out for this one. When it comes to level 1 talent for K1 Pro, we're also seeing him with the Gathering Storm now, which is one of the talents that got actually changed by Blizzard in the latest patch. So right now you have a lot more opportunity to stack the damage there, and teams have started to adjust their build a little bit. Updraft has also received a bit of a buff, but especially when we're talking about the Gathering Storm, that's something that we see. Li Ming taken out. Whoa, in the middle here, apparently, like with the iDream on Zeratul, we saw an immediate gank against Li Ming, and of course she's not really the most hit point heavy hero, and had all ready to to yield in this case. Spurred Onward is actually the talent that we are seeing on the side of Gal as a level 1. Not really what you see too much. I mean, that's one of the cool things about Shogal these days, I would say. That you have a lot of like talent choices where you can adjust a little bit. So in this case, you can already see that we are having a bit more mobility on the hero. We have for Cho in the same time the surging dash taken. And besides that, when it comes to builds, also bombs away now on the side of Gal. Already K1 Pro here with his full set, making the adjustment with the Flow Rider as the level 4 talent, trying to, of course, like get the recharge on the basic abilities so that he gets a bit more out of his like hammer rank, trying to make full use of that Gathering Storm. We have still in the mid lane, currently Johanna going up against Tychus here, but down at the first altar, especially THC White is doing a lot of work with that poke from LiMing from a distance. Caffeine up at the front. He's going to try and go for a stun here, maybe against Shogal even. But for now, they're just zoning a little bit. That altar is still active, by the way. LiLi went into the Conjurer's Pursuit on level 1, decided immediately to go into the Mending Serpent, so a bit more healing power for her at this point. And they are going to try to make this work. And so far, Cloud9 is actually looking pretty good here, at least at the bottom fight. But especially late on in the game, Shogal is going to be a huge pest. Early on, though, with good lockdowns, Caffeine and his boys might be able to get a couple of kills in, like, for example, against Drago right now. And it looks like they're gonna get it. They get the kill, no counter kill just yet, even though Johanna was trying to move into help out. Shogal himself is now in trouble, has to move away here. Job well done, they escape for now, but this is looking more and more like the first altar is going to end up in the hands of Cloud9. They have a slight inexperience here as well, and Dunk Train is going to complete the channel. Job well done on his part, the first few shots already fired. Keep in mind that, of course, this is one of those maps where in the early game the altars are not really having the highest significance. I mean, of course, every single point on the court counts, don't get me wrong. But in the late game, if you really make your plays there when the death timers are a lot higher, then you can get a lot of value out of any kill that you get. So if you get those altars in the early game, that's of course great. If you don't, then there's always the late game where you can get like incredible damage out. Not if you start losing heroes like this, though. LiMing dying for the second time, then LiMing has to stay alive in order for them to win. That's really the win condition here, that LiMing is getting the damage in together with Gal, but that's another double kill for Cloud9 now. Level 7 versus level 6, and now we have also the good stuff taken. So additional heals for LiLi in this case, whereas after the Warpole Blade for Zeratul on level 4, we now see follow through. So it's all about him trying to stick to a target and take him down, and especially against LiMing in the backline, it's going to be a very incredible talent. When we're talking about Caffeine, he went straight into the cooldown reduction for Mirrodin with the battle momentum to make sure that he has an opportunity to get the Avatar in a bit more often. And with Tychus, we have Melting Point now taken, and also the quarterback. So all about the grenades for him at this point, using the grenade build. Whereas we see for the red team, for Team THC White, on LiMing now Dominance taken for a bit more sustain in those fights, and Calamity now as well. So the extra damage with the teleport, Arthelon already putting the DPS in up at the top lane, whereas down to the bottom of the map, we are still seeing Shogal trying to dominate at least one lane. He went straight into I Am Hurrying already. So interesting talents to be taken here already. A lot of like duration talents, cooldown reduction talents that we are seeing overall. Edge of Madness is now also being taken. Not your standard run-of-the-mill Shogal build that we have in this case at this point, but still going for the rollback now. So that's definitely going to help. A lot of Shogal's damage is very like, it sounds oftentimes like it's quite a bit of RNG. You're just like spamming your spells out, and especially, of course, trying to go for the rollback. It's always that poke that you have, and it can be really incredible. Again, Arthelon sticking to the target here with his Tychus, trying to get that damage in. We have 2 altars ready right now, but already Shogal incredibly low. Rhaegar has to make sure that he somehow keeps him alive, and that's not going to be easy. Rhaegar himself went on level 4 still for the Stormcaller. Surprising talent, and the kill against Johanna. It's a little bit surprising to see actually Stormcaller taken here, because the only thing that he does now after the recent patches is reduce the mana costs. And the alternative on level 4 would be Feral Heart, which actually gives you a better mana regeneration. So overall, Feral Heart might have been the better choice here. Could have even gone into Farsight, considering that we have the Zeratul on the opponent's team. That would have helped with the vision. And at this point, it's really starting to look a little bit grim on the side of THC White. I mean, they are already one level behind. Level 10 has now been reached by the Cho'Gall team. Sorry, by Cloud9. And they go Haymaker. Alright. They don't even go into Avatar, considering that they have only one frontliner. That's a bold decision to go into Haymaker. But so far, it's working out with the damage. They killed Ming again. We are seeing LiLi immediately with his healing ult here, a jug of 1,000 caps. We have the Mighty Gust, Void Prison, and Commandeer Odin has been taken as well. So overall, Cloud9 looking incredibly strong here. I mean, they already were able to get like 2 altars in. One at least was channeled through by the Brad team. But in this case, again, Cho'Gall, look at that speed, by the way. Cho'Gall is actually like completely on crack. I mean, that guy is just rushing out here the entire time, but he is still dying. Thanks to I'm hurrying to the spurt onward, and well, yeah, mostly those 2 talents. We're currently seeing Cho'Gall running over this map like a bunny on speed. Like, it was actually pretty incredible. Upheaval has been taken. He has a level 4, so a level 10 talent, and I guess the Shadow Bolt volley is going to be hit by Gal now. Would be very surprised to see anything else here. It's incredible damage that you get out of it. And besides that, we have of course Disintegrate already taken. But with a 1.5 level lead, things are looking very good for Cloud9. Cloud9 now looking at level 13, but the altar is already on the map. King Caffeine is waiting for a victim, and there could be the Haymaker. Not going for it just yet. Caffeine AFK, waiting very long until he starts to move in. There's that Stormbolt though, and the kill against Rhaegar. With Rhaegar gone, what chance do they have? Dunk Train already with his ult. Nobody really here to interrupt it actually, maybe with the exception of Johanna. Upheaval has been used. We have, in this case, Twisted Nether taken. Twisted Nether over the Shadow Bolt volley. Yeah, I have to admit that I haven't really seen that before in competitive play, so that is an interesting one. But yeah, at this point, let's see how it's going to come into play. Especially with Upheaval, usually you go straight into the Shadow Bolt volley because you get so much damage out of that. But, well, right now we're seeing something very different. And when it comes to the objectives on the map, then it's still Cloud9 running the show. They have the level 13 talent now as well with the extra damage thanks to the Thunder Strike. Of course, Wormhole taken. Static Shield as well. Boomerang taken on level 7 after we've seen the cooldown reduction, so to say, with a faster recharge on the abilities with Flow Rider. A kill against Tychus. Renegade is down, but we still have another camp taken towards the bottom of the map. Muradin and Zeratul are currently doing some work. LiLi went into the Shrink Ray, so can use it against Cho'Gall. Mighty Gust used by K1 Pro, dodging the damage, trying to get away, but barely gets out of there. Well done by him. Blessed Shield was, by the way, still up, so they could have used Blessed Shield to get that kill. Decided against it. Upheaval misses. That's not good. Zeratul is already in the backline. K1 Pro, this time he's stunned out, but they still don't get the kill, and Dunk Train is going straight for his ult. There's nobody dodging Cho'Gall the entire time. But iDream is not so lucky. He's down, and that is, of course, well, kill number 4 for THC White. They are fighting. They're really fighting here, but Rhaegar is dead again. Ancestral Healing was already in cooldown, so he couldn't really use that. And now we are seeing still that talent advantage on the side of Cloud9. They try to go for that Stormbolt, but Yona is actually able to get away. And wow, the grenade nearly taking him out here. By the way, talking about Tychus for a second and also his grenades, he went on level 13 straight for the Problem Solver, which is basically his own version of the Giant Killer in this case. So that's definitely going to help quite a bit, trying to take down Cho'Gall here. But besides that, we're also seeing like Dunk Train in the middle, soaking experience again. We're having down to the bottom of the map another situation where in this case King Caffeine is going to try and soak a little bit of XP to bring them closer to the next level. But there's still one talent ahead, and that of course is going to be a big plus here for them. Because another altar is on the map, and with the talent advantage they can really shine, especially since LiLi can of course once again use the Shrink Ray here. Already we're having Commandeer Odin used. Here comes that attack. The ult! Oh, the Nether Blast doing quite a solid amount of damage. Not as much as they were hoping for. Haymaker against Cho'Gall. He's dashing away. Shrink Ray. Cho'Gall is really on the run here. I mean, like, he is fast. I never really saw a Cho'Gall run this fast. Yonra, in this case, about to go down, and yeah, it's by now a quad kill. Cho'Gall, of course, counting for 2 here, but Cloud9 is running the show. And when we're looking at the damage for a second, just to give you guys a bit of an idea, the top damage dealer in Siege and Hero damage, by the way, is of course Tychus. Yes, that's exactly what we wanted to see here. Tychus competitive value confirmed. Like, we need to see him way more often. Gala at 32,000, still not looking too shabby. But now with the 3-level lead, Cloud9 is of course like more than only a little bit ahead. They have a 3-level lead. They have level 16 versus level 13 right now. 2-for-1 has been chosen as well. We're seeing the concussion grenade now taken too. So the knockback increase that you have here, the increased range, and also at the same time the extra damage against like the structures and minions. Athlon definitely having some fun on his Tychus at this point. Finally on level 13 we're seeing the Molten Block chosen. We have Earth Shield plus Dread Shield taken. So like a lot of shields, a lot of abilities to really sustain during the fight, and they definitely need it. iDream is already trying to sneak in from behind, decides against doing anything here though, and was a little bit too exposed. They have Li Ming down at the bottom where one of the towers is currently being attacked. They lost one a bit earlier, and Li Ming is going to try and mitigate that. So yep, we are going to see this one fall. At the same time though, in the middle of the map, we have the defense, and now that the tower is taken at the bot lane, we saw iDream jump onto Li Ming for a moment, but she's able to get away. Uses the ult here to blast another wave away, but there's also more camps taken on the map now. The problem is really that level 16 talent that we're now seeing. Hammer Time still chosen, the Rending Cleave, we're having Stoneform as well. I mean, at least some of the talents are definitely needed for Caffeine to keep his hero alive here, considering that he's the only frontliner. Zeratul, not really the type of melee assassin that is going to stick with you at the frontline and tries to help you tank some damage. It's not like a Sonya or like a Thrall or anything like that. So for him it's more like the sneaky style. And Cho'Gall still in the middle. Down here they have to be careful. If Yonra dies now, that would be a disaster for them. Double altar has been announced, and the problem still for THC White is that they don't have level 16, so they don't get a chance to fight on even talents. Are they going to try and make a bigger fight here happening right now? It doesn't really look like it. Overall, still very solid lead for Cloud9. They're trying to go for the kill again. Starting to move in. Athlon actually with very nice positioning here. And Caffeine, of course, I mean, he's always at the front trying to just make sure that he protects his backline. Starting to jump in here with another Stormbolt. Yeah, here comes already. This time that could be a kill. They go for Athlon, and they nearly get it. They get it. Cho'Gall jumps in. And this time Dunk Drain is not able to heal all of it out. So we're sawing the Nether Blast now taken, or the Twisted Nether, sorry, my bad, has been claimed here, claiming a kill together with, of course, also then the Upheaval that has been claimed once again. So the double combo here with Cho'Gall working really well in this last one. But they are down to 12 hit points on the core. And while all this happened, Zeratul actually, in this case, took down Li Ming. But more importantly, he channeled the altar down to the bottom. So that's another couple of shots that were fired against the core of THC White. At this point, they are so far ahead right now. It's 36 against 12 points. Like, a third of the hit points on the core that we're seeing for the red team, and they have to somehow make a play now. We're seeing them on level 16, and that will allow them to at least fight on eye level again. We're having also Twilight Nova now taken as well, so it's really just like so much erratic damage that we're seeing here. The bouncing of those bombs, that's going to be a big, big deal here. At the same time, the Earthgrass Totem starts to combo off with the Colossal Totem on level 1, so they have a bit more lockdown than they did before. We're seeing the Crippling Blow now taking us on level 16 talent. I mean, it kind of makes sense if you consider like the build that has been chosen so far, with the I Am Hurrying here, with also like the Spurred Onward, like all in all on level 1 now, also the Surging Fist. It's a very different style of playing Cho'Gall. I mean, we've been talking about this already earlier. But so far, it also looks like they're not really getting the most damage in just yet. Li Ming, by the way, with the Illusionist and the Diamond Skin as well, so we're starting to switch things all around a little bit as well. Talking damage, we are by now still false stat a bit better on the damage output than actually our favorite Renegade here. Dunk Train in trouble, Dunk Train is down. Li Ming with the resets now, maybe a chance. They're surging in again, they go for Caffeine. And they go immediately for Cho'Gall. Molten Core use, they're trying to go through the wall. Haymaker definitely putting him in a bit of a problem here. Oh, and K1 Pro is just gusting everybody into the tower. Cho'Gall is dead. What a combo! What an insane combo by Cloud9. First they Haymaker him into the wall. Then after the wall has been destroyed, K1 Pro flies in, blasts everybody into the gate. They just simply lock the backline out with a quick Void Prison, and in this case they are looking at a phenomenal position to maybe even end the game. I mean, they can go boss, they can go for 2 altars. At this point it looks like they're just going to try and eliminate the middle of the tower here and then go for the channel. It's going to work either way. I mean, this is going to be the end of it. We are going to see Cloud9 with the first victory. Kung Fu Hustle on level 20 now taken with Rewind on 2 heroes, Muradin and also Zeratul, and this is going to be it. Great play here once again by Cloud9. They take the lead in our first game of the day here at the end of the Storm North America playoffs. Pretty fun match. And well, guys, let's jump into game number 2 and see who's going to take this series. Game number 2, everybody, is starting up. Cloud9 versus THC White. We have seen a special draft in game number 1. Let's just put it like that. We have seen Tychus, we have seen LiLi, we have Cho'Gath with a very interesting build, just zooming around on the map like zing the entire time. And we have Greymane banned again. It's starting to become a little bit of a trend, at least in the games that we've seen so far. Greymane, of course, like a very versatile hero. Yes, but, like even after the nerfs that we've seen to Greymane, we now still have him as a high priority in Europe and in North America. He even makes it into the early bans. Zul banned out as well. And that allows us to, I mean, that allows a lot of heroes once again. I mean, we have a Li Ming still available. After the last game, I don't really trust Cloud9 anymore. Like, at this point, they're very much looking like a Cloud9. The troll picks are real. I'm not quite sure how much value we can really put in the draft that they used in last game. That Zeratul early on definitely, of course, like doing a lot of work. I mean, especially when we're talking about that last team fight at the bottom of Altars, Towers of Doom, that was pretty crazy. We could see them with the Zeratul again. But that being said, I mean, overall, that draft seemed a little bit experimental, at least towards the later stages where we suddenly saw LiLi and Tychus being played. The cool thing, there's Zeratul again, it's kind of predicted. As we've seen in the last game, LiLi can of course get a lot of heal out there, especially if you're ending up in a situation where you don't have a lot of interrupts against her ultimate. And usually you would like to have a few more stuns, and there weren't like too many on the side of THC White that they could use against her, since of course we had pretty decent positioning here for Arthur as well. Yeah, for now, actually, in this case, we're having THC White with their choice. They went into a Li Ming in the last game. That didn't really work out too well because iDream was able to put a lot of damage on them with Zeratul. Now we're shaking things up already with an early Muradin here. So, first of all, seemingly taking it away from Caffeine, who of course loves to play Muradin, and also putting a heavy hit point tank on the side of THC White. A Jaina at this point is of course going to help to lean into the heavy burst meta once again, trying to like lock a target down and use Jaina for the damage. It's actually very cool to see like how the meta changes a little bit again. On the side of the European teams, we have Jaina still played, but very often actually disregarded during these games, whereas THC White and the North American server overall, like the North American region, they still love Jaina for very good reason. I mean, the hero has incredible burst potential, so that's something that you can always rely upon. Cloud9 is already leaning towards a Thrall here, actually, and with Zeratul and Thrall, that's already a very aggressive draft, as you can tell. We are probably going to see at least like one frontliner, range damage, and the healer. But with those two, I am not going to envy Jaina her position. Unless THCY drafts like a double support or a very beefy frontline, then Cloud9 is going to have a very, very aggressive setup that's going to try and jump Jaina. And, well, Rhaegar and Thrall, the Orc Dream team, is now together, so that's also going to be very, very cool. We're going to see that Lightning Shield in play again, and Rhaegar with a potential lockdown. THC White, I mean, they have to really think about what kind of hero they want to ban out now. Range damage is still missing on the side of Cloud9, and a frontliner. So they could, for example, decide to go in a ban on an ETC. Johanna, on the other hand, is also like quite strong if you play like with a solo frontline. But all in all, Cloud9 already with a pretty sick setup. Keep in mind that in the last game, one of the heroes that played a huge role here as well, especially in the later fights, was Falstad, and it looks like they're actually going to try and ban him out here. I could have seen THC White go for Falstad themselves. As a disengage, it's a pretty sweet choice, but Falstad is indeed being banned out now. Whereas Cloud9, when it comes to bans, could even decide to go into a ban on one of the supports here. They could. They don't really have to. I mean, there's of course always like the potential threat of THC White going into Tyrande now that they have Mirrodin and Jaina. That might be one of the ideas here. But Cloud9 seems to be a little bit worried that Li Ming is not going to be added to the equation as well. And THC White has already quite a lot of burst. So Li Ming could even add to that, especially after a Meridian stun. If you like get all of the missiles in the orb as well, that's of course incredible damage. If you put a Jaina on top of that, then you can basically blast away any target that you're looking out for. So Li Ming taken out. Cloud9 making sure that there's no one-shot combo between the three heroes. And THC White now faced with a choice if they actually want to go a bit old school and add a Tyrande to that draft to go stun into stun together with Jaina. When it comes to like vision on the map, you could theoretically also open up that Tassadar option again. But for now, it's the double frontline, with ETC having a chance to go into a mosh pit here. Muradin with a stun as well. Jaina, of course, is going to capitalize on both of these pre-stuns, and also in the mosh pit, if she gets the opportunity to do that. But we still are lacking a bit of support. And Uther would work well with ETC for the Divine Shield mosh pit, and could also like help Jaina or any backliner once that Zeratul is trying to leech on. And that could definitely help them. Another option would, I suppose, be Karazim in this setup, depending on also what they use for their last pick right now. But Karazim would definitely work in this case as well. Has a bit more mobility, of course. Uther, on the other hand, with the Divine Shield, adds a lot of survivability to the draft. And also kind of level 13 with the Shrink Wave, of course, make sure that either Thrall or Zeratul are not going to have the easiest time once they start to commit and jump into the backline. But a little more damage is definitely also needed. And it looks like, yeah, I actually was for a moment thinking about it, but then I thought, well, if they really go for Sonya, then they're incredibly like frontline heavy. With this setup, I would definitely lean towards Karazim over Uther, even though Uther would still be a strong choice. If you get to level 16, then Karazim with that Circle of Life can do a lot for you. So that might be something that THC White is going to look at. Jaina's going to have a lot of space here, and Cloud9, they go for Atanis. At this point, I actually believe them. So they're going to go for Atanis here. Or are they? They're looking at Tychus again. The Renegade. Are we going to see Tychus Atanis? Murky? No, come on, guys. Bring Tychus out. Gazlowe, I take Gazlowe as well. I would take Gazlowe. With such a heavy front line, as they're doing it, Zeratul Void Prison into Gazlowe, they're going to do it, aren't they? They are going to pull a Gazlowe here. The troll is real. Yes, they are definitely going to do that. Who needs range damage if you have a Gazlowe? Ah, come on, boys. Nah, they chickened out and went full Nara. Okay. They don't! Yes! Who needs a tank if you have Thrall at the front line? The Gazlowe troll is real. Gazbro is in the game, and it is going to be an Uther. Wait for the Gravel Bomb with Zeratul Void Prism starting the entire combo off. They actually pull it off. Cloud9. Like, sorry, boys, but that nickname is well deserved at this point. Karazim for the heals with the 16. Looks like that's what's going to happen here. But yeah, they're going to go for the Gazlowe. I can't believe it. Gazlowe being picked. Cloud9. Alright. THC White. I mean, they of course know what's happening here, but still. Game number 2 is going to start in a few seconds. Battlefield of Eternity is the map, and let's find out if Cloud9 can bring Gazlowe to victory after they also made sure that Tychus has a 100% win ratio right now. Let's see if the same is going to be true for Gazlowe. Guys, we're going to jump into game number 2 on Battlefield of Eternity. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2. And well, you can already tell that something is a little bit different. Cloud9 is playing against THC White, and of course Cloud9 is the favorite in this series, and they are currently having some fun here. I mean, who needs a tank if you can play Gazlowe? We have Caffeine today on Thrall for the blue team, Dunk Train on Rhaegar, I Dream again on Zeratul, K1 Pro on the Gazlord himself, and Arthalon on Lunara. To the right side of the map, THC White, they are definitely the underdog here, and Cloud9 is currently trying to have a little bit of fun here and give us a good show. We have Sonya, played by Kalabunga, Butts on Jaina, Elhaim on Karazim, Justing on ETC, and Hyunra is playing Meritin. And the show must go on, of course. Already the Stormbolt here, and oh, they are mad! You pick Gazlowe against us, how do you dare? That was definitely not quite what they expected here. So already Rhaegar down, the dog is dead. And in the meantime, let's check out what Gazlowe is going to do here. On level 1, break it down. So the ability cooldowns is going to be reduced a little bit. We have the Rapid Displacement, the Colossal Totem, and also the Chain Lightning build for Thrall, who's currently up at the top lane against Sonya. So at this point, of course, when we're looking at it, THC White is just simply saying, listen up, boys, we're not going to make that easy for you. We know that you are probably a lot better than us, but still, you just pick Gazlowe, and we are not happy about it. Level 1 talent for Lunara hasn't been taken yet. I mean, like, there's a couple of choices what you can go for. Oftentimes, it's like the vision that you have on the poison. But Arthelon is already poking a little bit from a distance here against Butts in particular. For THC White, of course, when you're looking at their setup, they're having a very melee-heavy front line, and that's also one of the reasons why we're currently looking at Karazim as their healer and not Uther, who would have worked very well, of course, with a potential mosh pit on ETC. But having on level 16 then the extra healing is going to help a lot with such a heavy melee front line. Natural Perspective has been chosen as expected. The extra vision on the Toxin is going to be taken here. Immortals are already spawning. We had initially the original like 4-1 split, but now the Immortals are actually up. And that's one of the reasons where Gazlowe can actually really help the team out, because those towers are super annoying. And he's already trying to just like siege up a little bit here. Towers everywhere. Oh, the kill against Sonya. Zeratul gets away. Justing on ETC is also moving out there. And of course at this point this is all going to come down to a race. Sonya, one of the main damage dealers in this case, is missing, and that's always a huge problem. The teams are both on level 3, and we are still seeing them roughly on the same level when it comes to the potential shields for the Immortal. So most likely going to see them race again. Sonya is on their way. It's a bit of a defense happening actually at this point. Mostly you actually see teams trying to go for the offense, but Dunk Train is dead again. Caffeine on his Thrall is also about to die. And yes, THC White is starting to get their kills in. 3 kills against 1. They're still guarding their own Immortals since they know that iDream is around somewhere. And of course Lunara herself is also dishing out quite a lot of damage. That girl is picking a punch. So they are trying to make sure that nobody's going to take that down. And in the meantime, Sonya at least is attempting to drop the hit points on the blue team's Immortal. So here comes K1 Pro, setting the towers in already, and the race is gonna be won by the red team. From the looks of it, yeah, they're gonna go for it. Sorry, the blue team bursting the red Immortal. There we go. And well, with this, we're having level 4 talents now. Oh, Foresight has actually been taken here. So Foresight with a vision to make sure that they have something that they can use against Zeratul in his positioning. So that's going to help them here on the extra dash. Besides that, we have level 4 talents now also on the side of Cloud9 with Spirit Walker's Grace. You don't see that too often. Mana cost reduction, I mean, could have gone also into the Feral Heart here, but at least that helps him to spam it out a little bit more. The Goblin Fusion taken for our Lord Gazlowe. And in this case, of course, he has the extra charge here. We're also seeing Master Wall Blade plus the Nimble Wisp. And, well, down here, there's just like turret after turret being put into play for K1 Pro. Putting himself into a pretty decent position here behind the wall, which was now finally destroyed by Arthelon. Yeah, Gazlowe is still there, getting a good hit against Karazim in. We have also blocked, by the way, on Sonya as a level 1 talent. But so far, it's more or less an even split in experience. But from a structural point of view, definitely a slight lead here. Zeratul taken out at the top lane. Wow, looks like this particular attempt to go for a gank against Sonya has backfired quite hard. Caffeine is still alive, but Zeratul is down. Sonya had to be, but that's already about it. Down here, Gazlowe trying to go for the kill. They go for Muradin and they get it. Gazlowe, on the other hand, was not able to take Jaina out. So there's a lot of action happening all over the place at this point. Gazlowe again with the bombs and the stuns here. There's always that potential, but the big threat is of course going to come into play once level 10 is reached. The Gravel Bomb together with a Void Prison would be fantastic, even though a lot of people are already saying that they want to see the Robo Goblin here. It's still a little bit more likely that we're going to see some Bombo Combo potential on the side of Cloud9. Besides that, Caffeine still with a poke up at the top lane. I mean, it's still that Bruiser fight that we have there. But down to the bottom of the map, there's already Arthelon in position. iDream is there as well. Gazlowe is doing what a Gazlowe does. He's taking camps. And yes, he's doing a pretty solid job at this one. Level 7 now for both of the teams. And look at that. The Frost Armor already, the anti-melee assassin build, if you so want, has been chosen for Jaina because she wants to make sure that Zeratul is not going to take her down. It's actually very important to keep Jaina alive since she's the only range damage that we have on their side now. Double follow through now taken, one on Thrall and the other one on Zeratul. Gazlowe going straight into the first aid. What a chicken. Going into the sustain talents. K1 Pro. No balls to the walls built here from him just yet. But they have on level 7 now also the Wild Vigor taken. And here comes another Immortal fight. And in this case, there's of course again the pressure play. Gazlowe is starting to put the towers in again. Turrets everywhere. Yep, and so far the red team's Immortal is getting really low. Lunara from the backline with the damage. Sonya nearly down. Zeratul is dead as well. iDream is gone. And so is Sonya. So it's an exchange, but there comes the laser. Laser to the face. Pew pew! And Muradin is dead. So yeah, the Gazlord is getting some value in there. And they have the Immortal down to half health now as well. Once again, they are starting to jump around. The move up to the top. King Caffeine, Dunk Train, and Arthelon are already in position here. And yes, the turrets. Well, the one annoying thing about the turrets is that actually the Immortal is taking a lot of those out with those stun circles as well. But they still are able to burst this one down quite easily. So we have a nearly full shielded Immortal for Cloud9, whereas THC White is starting to struggle a bit against this. The problem for them is really that they're most likely going to lose at least their top 4. They could lose a little bit more depending on what exactly we're going to see in terms of a split for Cloud9 now. Theoretically, you could, for example, like try to siege a position up with Gazlowe at the bot lane as well, but he will definitely like help with any kind of push up at the top, especially since that laser fully charged is always a huge threat. If you're trying to go for the Immortal and you can't really jump behind him to just threaten Gazlowe, then you can of course like, get that damage in there as well. The stun combos are always a big problem too. Already, yeah, Hyunra has to jump away here and he's extremely low, so for Muradin that's not really the best start into that fight. We're having nice blizzard damage from Jaina, but that fort is already about to fall, and of course, I mean, the Immortal still has shield, so he's on ranged attack as we speak. Gazlowe is there, turrets everywhere, scrapping them as well, and now it's wombo combo time. There we go. They look for the Void Prison, and Gazlowe with a grabber bomb here. Alright, so let the fun begin. Level 10.5 versus level 9. And once that iDream sees a Void Prism opportunity, they're gonna go for it. And if you time that perfectly, you get that double stun in, of course, as well. So they are starting it up, and let's see. No Void Prism just yet. THC White, they know exactly what's gonna happen here, so they need to make sure that they don't cluster too much. Once that Zeratul jumps in with the Void Prism, blinks in Void Prisms, then it can really go down fast. But for now, K1 Pro just like guarding the attempt to steal the camp away here with a few turrets set in place. For THC White, they need level 10. They're not going to try and like fight if they have a chance here, because they know that without their rogue abilities, they won't have any kind of opportunity to get out of this. So right now, still a little bit of laser time. K1 Pro here, pew, gets the laser in again. No clustering, no clusterino just yet. Kalabunga from the side. Justing wants to go for the mosh pit. Leap has been chosen as well. It's gonna be a bit of wombo combo style for themselves too. They're trying to go. Oh, the leap misses! The leap misses! The grabber bomb, the stun! Ring of Frost backline already Void Prison, the kill against Sonya. Not really the wombo combo that we've been waiting for, but heroes are falling left and right. Double kill against THC White, and Muradin is about to fall too. Jaina is also exploding. Lunara is taking her down. It's a 4 versus 1 exchange, and that ends with the key being taken down 9 minutes into the game. Yeah, well, that leap missing, that was of course a big problem. Justing actually has some problems here as well. Lunava overstaying their welcome a little bit. What was that? The mosh pit. Justing with a mosh fail. I'm not quite sure if that was a fail or if it was ingenious. I mean, it would have trapped Rega if he would have like sticked around a little bit more. So maybe the mosh pit after all saving ETC there. Kind of looked funny though. But of course, it was not really that crisp and clean wombo combo that we've been hoping for with the Void Prison setup. But instead, it was a bit odd. I mean, ETC diving in, Sonya missing her leap, also going for Muradin of all heroes. Oh, sorry, no, it was Muradin. I think it was Thrall actually they're trying to jump on, which was a little bit weird. Level 13 talents by now, by the way, and here's the easy peasy Dimensional Ripper. All right, that's the best name for a talent that I've ever seen. The easy peasy Dimensional Ripper is going to make this much, much easier now with that laser as well. Level 13 talents bring also the unfair advantage to THC White. We have the Wormhole, the Earth Shield, and the Spell Shield. I mean, Caffeine definitely best Thrall NA confirmed. Who needs a tank if you have Caffeine on Thrall? That's probably what they've been thinking here. But the level 11, yeah, well, level 10 talents could again be used to get a bit of a jump in. The problem is that Leap is still on cooldown, or once again I want to say. There comes the pressure. Players Gefin and the rest of Cloud9 is already pushing THC White back towards the fort. They have now also some space created that they can use to go straight for the Immortal. And now, with still a 1.5 level lead, they are of course doing very well here. When it comes to damage, by the way, Gazlowe at this point 24,000, like more damage than Thrall, OP confirmed. We have 38,000 damage on the other hand on Lunara and 36,000 against Siege. Yeah, but the Immortal once again taken. It was a bit of a race as THC White was starting to move up to the top to try and burst it down as well. They at least were limiting the shield a bit of the Immortal, but they weren't really be able to do much more than that. They kind of have to forfeit the fort here. I don't really think that they should stick around too much, but they have now the stun combo. If Yonra gets a stun in, where's the leap? Not going for it. Not deciding to go for the kill. But if they want to blow a hero up, then it's definitely time to blow Arthlon away. And now it's maybe the chance. They're starting to go in. Here comes the Void Prison though. Where's the Gas Lord? Where is the Gas Lord? There's the Gas Lord and the stun and the kill. No, Stasis is there. But it looks like at least Sonya might fall. Mosh Pit already used. 1 hero down, 2 down, 3 down. Oh, the slaughter. It's a team wipe, level 15 versus level 12. The GGs are being called. They of course fought well away from the Immortal. But yeah, at this point they already accepted that they are going to lose this game. With the Immortal, Cloud9 can now just simply move through. They are very close to level 16. They're probably going to hit level 16 even faster than we're going to see level 13 hit for THC White. But THC White is actually back to defend. They are back to business. Level 16 talents, and we of course all want to know what Gazlord is going to take next. It's the laser, what else? Recharges twice as fast. Pew pew, again a grabber bomb. The stun, oh my god. Zeratul is down. Jaina is also falling. Arthelon is cleaning house, and they are taking everyone else down. Great play here by Cloud9. They are able to take the series with a 2-0. It's the first game of the group here. Now Cloud9 advances to face Cognitive in the next round of the Group A here at the Ender Storm, North America. And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on KhaldorTV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to KhaldorTV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.